Hey, so today I'm going to be taking a look at the 7 different books that are essential for the entrepreneurs, businesses, owners. If you are trying to make more money, I think these books can really help you in your life. Thought influence you and really positive affects your life and make more money for you just from these books. So a person will try to read at least books per week, but obviously there's going to be the times where you just can't there things can come up with your life where you can't read as you would like to. So let's talk about these 7 different books. Some of these you can listen to Amazon audiobook. I like to do that when I'm walking around and I don't have the time to sit down and actually read the physical books. But let's talk about these 7 books. The first one that I wanted to bring up here is called The Influence of the Psychologically of the Perspirations. Now, really, the best aspect of these books is that book is it sort of explains how people are influenced in their life, and you can really closely relate this to business. So it talks about a lot of the different situations. For example, John Stone, why people drunk their Kool-Aid. It talks about door-to-door salesmen, how they are really effective. Sometimes it talks about some different scams that might occur, and it talked about how you know the greatest car salesman in the world, how he was able to sell so many vehicles. So you break down a lot of the different sort of the psychological effects that people have in their brain and psychological triggers in their brain, but they can't really help. But it's just the nature of the human occurrence, and it's very interesting. This can help you to grow your businesses, make more money, and I think it's just amazing books for every all around the businesses. Now, the next books that I think is incredibly important is called Getting to Yes Now. This is going to help you with the negotiating if you are negotiating. Contracting, you are trying to buy something, maybe you are trying to sell something, b2 b2 b2c, whatever it is. So you are trying to buy a car in a life, or you are trying to sell something from your personal home. Maybe you are trying to sell your house and you are trying to negotiate with somebody. Books like this is really going to help you in the life with some different negotiations tactics. Now, you don't necessarily pick up these books specifically. I think it is written in the 80s. At first, it's been revised a couple of the times. Millions of the copies have been sold out, but you don't necessarily pick up these specific books. But I would definitely pick up books about negotiation and how to negotiate better. It's gonna help you in your life tremendously. Alright, so in the next books is called Crushing It by the great Vaynerchuk. And this how to be put on this list. Now, I personally list these books on Amazon Audible, probably listened to it in the only 2 days, but this is really going to help you master market your businesses. If you are trying to get from maybe the 100 views of your businesses per day, a thousand or the thousands of the 10,000s or 10,000s to 100,000s, then the great Vaynerchuk is the books you're really gonna help you to figure out where you are from and a marketing standpoint, and where you can be like using the certain social platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat. You talked about all this, breaks them down, that talks about some different strategies for the growing your following for your businesses and marketing your businesses for the free in the look of the cases. And he also touches on the traditional marketing tactics, like the using the billboards and magazine ads. And so how they sort of the stack up against the social media market in 2019 going into the 2019 now. So I think it's really influential books that's gonna to help you sort of to get your head straight and think about where to kind of to focus your energy on your businesses. So if you haven't read or listened to Crossing It, I think it's really important to listen to that book. So number four, here is the quote, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You might have already heard these books written by the Robert Kiyosaki. He essentially had that he would call it the Rich Dad, which was not his biological father, and then he had the Poor Dad, which was his biological father. And this is the really interesting how he grew up because his Rich Dad never had the formal education, but he has able to allocate his assets in a certain way to most through real estate. So what he was making a lot of the money, he was very wealthy, while his poor dad was making a lot of the money, hundreds of the thousands of the dollars per year, but he was actually poor because he didn't know how they managed this money. Well, was spending it on the stupid things. So I think these books can really help you from the personal finance standpoint, but also from the business standpoint as well. Definitely gonna to help you to set yourself up for the success in your life. Number three here is the 4-hour work week. Now, here is some the controversy around this. A lot of the people say, you know, what this guy is kind of the snake oil salesman. Is this actually realistic? Can you live in the 4-hour work week and only work 4 hours per week? In that possible? And you know that realistically, maybe it's not always going to be the possible for the most people. But with that said, there's so many great concepts with these books that I have learned that I can literally attribute to continue to make thousands of the dollars just from these books. The ideas from these books, one of them that I think is really helpful is this idea of the sort of the automating your businesses and outsourcing some of the work. See, I think a lot of the people when they are growing their businesses, they might hit the 100,000 or the 200,000, maybe the $250,000 per year, and they start to hit the wall because what happens is they are not outsourcing enough of their work, and they are not realizing they have the hitting this walls. But sometimes it can be that they are not outsourcing enough ways, they are not automating this, and they are investing themselves so much in the businesses that nobody helping them out, and they ended up stressing themselves out entirely and not able to grow that businesses because they are not willing to sort of expand from the employee standpoint. So that's something that I think is important as well. Some other concept like the kind of the blocking out your time in your day, so you're not checking emails every 15 minutes as well as talking about the new reach kind of the versus the old reach awareness. The new reach sort of the kind of the left the life that really want to live, where the old rich will sort of the worst, maybe 90 hours a week, not many friends, but you're the making money. But if you are the making money, you are not having the fun. There's no, I don't really know how much the point of the life if you are not having fun in the life. So very cool book that I think helped me a lot, and it can help you as well. Just to take it kind of with the grain of salt. Obviously, there is some signs in here that I think are not essentially realistic, but it's definitely something that I would read now. The next books that I wanted to show you is called The One Things. It's written by the great Keller. This is going to help you with the sort of the tackling your goals and making sure that you get stuff done. He talked about multitasking, so why multitasking doesn't work, but it's going to help you accomplish your goals a lot faster and kind of set the plan and go in the tech your one things and become successful. So I really do wish that I could have to put 50 books onto this list, because there's so many amazing books and that related to entrepreneurships or the growing your businesses that I think can be highly impactful on your life. One of them being How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is isn't even the book to number one. Here's just wanted to throw it in here because as an introvert, this really helped me a lot in order to learn how to speak to the people, and I'm not an extrovert. I'm not a neutral speaker, so I kind of had to learn how to speak to the people, how to interact, as weird as that might sound. If you are the introvert, you know what I'm talking about here. But the number one book that I wanted to talk about today is called The Hard Things About Hard Things, written by the band Horowitz. The reasons why it is number one on this list: Ben Horowitz, while running the billion-dollar company, he ran into a lot of the things that really cause a lot of the problems. And I think what he really highlights here is that while most people who write books and talked about businesses, sort of the highlighting businesses and entrepreneurships as such, like the golden opportunity, there's not going to be a lot of the problems and even up to face those problems. And he talked about those problems and how he faced them. So some of these acquaintances and friends, co-workers faced those problems and how they dealt with them. And I think it's definitely going to help you out in the growing your businesses and running your business, managing it, and that's why when I personally ask almost the business owners what was the most influential or most impactful books that you have ever read. So many of them say it's called The Hard Things. About hard things, that is the number one books, so I had to put it at the number one. But this what list is obviously flexible, so you don't have to go by this exact books in order of this is kind of my opinion. My preferences is the ones that I feel really impact to myself the most. But like I said, try to read at least a book a week. I think it's the great goal for you to do that as well. I will leave links for those books down below in the descriptions. You can find most of this at your free local library. If you are in the really want to think reading, it's incredibly important. So thanks everybody for watching this video. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are not already, and thanks for watching. I will see you next time.